Jackie?
Hey Walt, I'm curious of what you made of the looks tonight and what you thought of the energy from the group when shots didn't go in.
I thought our energy was really good. That's one of the things we just talked about. The main thing we talked about was that I thought that their intensity and effort and talk and togetherness was really good tonight. I thought it was good enough to win a game. I mean, we held them to 74 points on some shooting numbers that we're okay with. We converted off of turnovers. I mean, I thought that we did a lot of really, really good things defensively and energy wise. We got down the stretch, we got a little stagnant. I thought we settled a lot for long twos instead of staying the course, getting to the rim, creating contact. We stopped getting to the free throw line there in that second half, and they kept getting to the free throw line. And, that ended up being the difference in the game.
I also wanted to ask you about what you thought some of the looks that Natasha got tonight. How is she getting along, with adjusting to the speed of the game? She had that one fast break where she looked like Flash.
Yeah, she's, I think Tosh has had some really, really good moments. And I think there's still a ton of adjustment. Players getting used to her getting used to how these players play. She's had a really specific role for a really long time. And so now she's got to kind of relearn with a new offense and new people around her, and the timing that she gets the ball is different. And, it's just a lot of adjustment for her. But I think every game she does something a little bit better than she did the game before. And I thought she had a couple of really nice, composed, physical post moves tonight. I thought she rebounded the ball really well. I think she had, for the most part, I think she got some really good looks and she played well.
I appreciate that. And finally, for me, I wanted to also ask about Michaela. I mean, she had 10 rebounds tonight. I mean, what do you attribute, I guess, that development to? Because I think we've talked about earlier, just she, when she has to box out those bigger players, she might not be able to, battle for the boards.
Yeah, she was just really locked in on rebounding tonight. And it's one of the things I talked to her about after the game is, sometimes shots don't fall. I thought she probably got a couple fouls there that didn't get called when she was getting to the rim and powering up through contact. And, it's just the way the game goes sometimes. But again, for the most part, she took shots that we would, love for her to take. She got to the rim. She took care of the ball for the most part. I thought she just, we didn't shoot the ball well as a team. We just didn't shoot.
Right. Right. Thanks so much, Coach. I appreciate it. Good night.
Night.
Jeff Magliochetti.
Thank you, Coach. I wanted to ask you about Beck Allen's insertion to the starting lineup in place of Sammy Whitcomb. Over the past 3 games, Beck has averaged 8 rebounds, matching 8 rebound performances in each. How important have her efforts been to the interior game and helping this team stick around in ball games?
Beck has been just so good in so many ways. We've talked about this before with Sammy and Beck, that for a lot of their careers, they've been pretty much exclusively relied on for scoring and for threes. So to see the way that they're both rebounding, defending, setting screens. I mean, Beck had 3 blocks and 5 steals to go with those rebounds. I mean, she was just a monster, ton of deflections, fought around in post switches. Beck was fantastic. I told her after the game, I'm really proud of how hard she's playing and all the good things she's doing.
You mentioned during the pregame that the key to this game was not allowing Minnesota second chance opportunities. And for the most part, you did that in the first half, allowing only 3 offensive rebounds. And you took care of the ball in the first half as well. Unfortunately, in the third quarter, 6 turnovers, and Minnesota got 4 offensive boards, scoring on 3 of them. So what did Minnesota throw differently at you in that third quarter?
I thought they just kind of picked up intensity wise. Mm-hmm. We were doing a pretty good job outside of those things. We were doing a good job matching it and getting stops. But the problem was, that we'd go down the other end and turn it over. And we just had a couple of stretches there where we got sped up and threw balls over people's heads. And you know, some of the stuff that's plagued us this year. But as far as the defensive end, and as far as, you know, the rebounding, I don't think that there was really a change in anything Minnesota was doing, as much as, you know, their people are, they know what they do and what they do well, and they continue to go to the well, be it offensive rebounding with Jess Shepard, or, you know, attacking the rim as Aerial Powers. You know, the people who are good at things did what they're good at. But I don't think there was a lot of, you know, tactical changes or anything.
Appreciate your time and insight, Coach. Thank you.
Yeah.
Miles Ehrlich.
Hey, Coach. How did Sammy make it through the game today? How was she feeling after the game, and what did you see of her performance out there?
Yeah, she felt fine. Thought she was sped up, you know, as anyone is when they're coming off of an injury, first game back. So I was glad that she was able to get a couple minutes and move around and kind of see how it felt, and, you know, get some game reps. But I mean, she hasn't even had a full practice, you know, so it was always going to be a limited amount of time if we got her out there.
And late in the third quarter, when you brought in that bench, you had a bit of a dip, and Minnesota increased that deficit heading into the fourth. And the same thing happened at the end of the first quarter. What were you seeing from the bench tonight? Because I noticed at the start of the fourth, you put back in all 5 of your starters for that last 10-minute run.
Yeah, I think there was just a little bit of a struggle with the bench tonight, and it was different things. You know, I thought Kai did a lot of good things. I thought Didi did a lot of good things. We didn't score when they were in, and obviously it's really, really hard to win when you're not scoring. So I think, you know, again, I'd have to look at plus minus and defensive and all that stuff with our bench unit. But for the most part, what stood out to me is that we were having trouble scoring.
Thanks so much, Coach.
Andrew Lipton.
Hi, Walt. I'm with Mel Greenberg's media outlet. Any thought to having Natasha and Kylie play together for extended minutes?
Yeah, we've looked at it. The couple times that we've done it, it hasn't yielded a ton quite yet, because we have to change a lot of the things that we do when they're both in there. And our group doesn't tend to respond well to wholesale changes. You know, they need time to work on things. There's not a lot of foundation laid there with so many of the young players. So it's really hard to make the big changes, and playing two bigs is a big change. So the times that we do it, you know, we can use Kylie as a spacer and still keep Tosh rolling and playing in the post. You know, Kylie's passing and her ability to shoot the three and put it on the floor a little bit, even to make a play, allow us to do that. But the short periods we've had of it this year, we just, you know, we haven't loved it enough to go back to it.
Just to follow up, I mean, for the first half of the season, Kylie basically was the starter. Natasha's kind of the new player who comes in the second half. Maybe moving her to the forward spot kind of frees her up to maybe be more effective offensively.
Yeah, it's a possibility. There's just a lot of considerations with our defense and the sets that we run, and the effect that has on everybody else. So a lot to think about.
Thanks, Coach.
Last question, Azar.
Hey, Coach. The question I had, when you guys were playing Phoenix, you were a little concerned about the effort. Moving forward with tonight, on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel the team's effort was?
Yeah, tonight it was, for most of the game, I'd say it was a 9 or a 10. Execution wasn't always there, but the effort was, and the talk and the togetherness were there. And you can't do anything without those. So, I mean, that's where our baseline needs to be. The way that they played tonight, in terms of the way that they communicated and how hard they played, that's got to be our baseline. That's rock bottom. That's every game. You know, when we get to that point, there's not a lot of games we're going to shoot 20% from three, you know, and 32% from the field. I thought some of that was, you know, us taking tough contested, you know, long twos because of some good Minnesota defense. But I think a lot of that also was us missing some good looks from three.
Thanks, Coach. Next up, we have Michaela, Onyenwere, Sabrina Ionescu, Natasha Howard.
They're a great rebounding team, and so we knew, going in that we had to crack down, get rebounds offensively and defensively, and I think we did a good job of that, but I think there's still a lot of room for improvement. So hopefully this just kind of sets the standard moving forward of every single game. This is what we're capable of doing and what we need to do.
And tonight, Michaela, you had your first career double-double. You had 10 rebounds and 11 points. It's in recent weeks, you've had a bit of a hard stretch offensively. How much of a confidence booster is it to you to not just notch those double-digit rebounds, but to also hit a couple of threes and to get aggressive and get some free throws to the line tonight?
I think it's definitely, up there and it being a confidence booster. My teammates found me when they were over helping, so that was, good to, get a rhythm. Some of them didn't fall, which is unfortunate, but just good to get into a rhythm, and, really grateful that my teammates were able to find me in those moments.
Thank you all so much.
Jackie Powell.
Hey all, thanks so much for being here. So first I want to ask for Sabrina, I'm curious as to what you made of the looks tonight and what you thought of the energy from the group, even when shots didn't go in.
I think our energy was definitely a lot better than I think it has been, for the majority of the season. I think we've stuck together. We're feeding off each other, especially in an arena, that's built like it is with so many great fans, and, they have great energy. And so we have to match that. And it starts with our bench and it starts with us on the court. And so it was exciting. And I think a step in the right direction to just see that we stuck together and, kind of fed off each other with the energy that we were giving.
Brilliant. I wanted to ask Natasha, along the lines of you guys sort of getting better when it comes to the energy, what have you made of, I guess, the evolution or the progression when it comes to the transition defense?
Like Steph said, we're coming together with it. We're bringing everything together, and we got to keep building. Like each game, when we got like 4 more games left, we got to keep building. And like everybody keeps saying, we're a young team, and this is our first year playing with each other. So we still learning and we still building. And the way we play tonight, we're gonna keep building. Right,
I appreciate that. And finally, for Michaela, just building off of Miles's question. I mean, you hit 10 rebounds tonight. I'm curious as to what work you've been doing, in practice or outside of practice on just becoming a better rebounder in the W, because you have to go up against, these really strong posts. And sometimes it's hard to, get out from that box out and, bring that down.
Like Sab said, just in our game plan, we knew that when Sil was out, we knew there was going to be a lot of other contributors on the boards. And so it made rebounding that much more important. And so we talked about cracking down a lot. And like you said, there was a lot of missed shots in this game on both sides. And so that was kind of what my focus was, and just able to get my team extra possessions, but also just stopping the other team from getting extra possessions as well was really one of our focuses. And so that's just kind of what my mindset was. Once they're able to have just one shot, it's easier for us to go down and, get an easier shot on the other end.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Jeff Magliochetti.
Thank you. This question is for anyone who feels comfortable answering it. Over the first 2 quarters, you guys really appeared to take care of the ball. Only 5 turnovers in the first half, and you only allowed Minnesota 3 offensive rebounds. And in the third quarter, unfortunately, 6 turnovers and 4 offensive rebounds for Minnesota. So was it anything Minnesota did to you guys in the third quarter, or are these easily adjustable mistakes that can be cleaned up by Thursday?
I think they're easily adjusted mistakes. They turned up the pressure a little bit, and we were a little sped up. And, I think that's what we've been doing through a lot of these games. But I think we limited it to at least just 1 quarter this time. So it's definitely improving, and we're taking steps in the right direction. But, we do have to eliminate that, because that's something that we can control, taking care of the ball and boxing out, making sure that we're keeping, their best rebounders off of the glass.
Absolutely. And how much of a boost was it to have Sammy Whitcomb back in the lineup tonight?
Definitely a boost. She's one of our leaders, and I know she's still, dealing with some things with her injury, but she was able to give us a little bit of a spark. And just to hear her voice has been consistent, even though she hasn't been playing. So it really hasn't felt like she's been missing in that aspect. But yeah, definitely looking forward to when she's, healthy again and able to be back on the court.
Appreciate your time and insight, all three of you. Safe travels.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. We will send the recording and post-game notes shortly.